all that to say, Africa by Toto. One of my things was I wanted to change the national anthem from the Star Spangled Banner to Africa by Toto. And I demonstrated this by pulling out a kazoo, and I started playing Africa on kazoo over the mic.
And he did it
and
really
that was
poorly.
Like all part of the bit.
Hello and welcome to the Nerdiest podcast, where nerds talk about nerdy things. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Mr. Jackson Glass, and today I'm also joined by my Mr. Ride or Die, Mr. Nick Barrett. But we're going to get to that here in just a minute. Today, we will be doing a continuation of a series we haven't touched in literal years. This is a what we've been watching. This is honestly just a really easy, chill episode we get to do when there's not really a whole lot of news or we don't really have another thing to plan. So we're just gonna hang out, talk about an update on what we've been doing, what we've been up to, and all this stuff. So Mr. Nick, tell me about your week. How are you?
Well, I'm tired, man. I'm sleepy. I'm gonna be so real. It's been such a long week.
Yeah.
So, for starters, one of my coworkers is out on vacation this week, and I'm the only person who knows how to do his job outside of him. And because we work at a TV station, his job is keeping us on air, like making sure we do all the programming and make sure it's all like punched in the system. So I had to go in and upkeep with that this week on top of my work schedule, which I was already behind on work, which is rough. And as you can see, I'm tired. So I was already behind on work, had that added on top of it, had this one episode that I was trying to edit just not going great. Lots of changes and revisions and minute things, and it was frustrating, but we got it done, which that took all day Monday, so that set me behind for the rest of the week, which then I had to loop back and do again on Tuesday, so that set me even further behind. And then, like, Wednesday night we had D&D, which was really fun, but I ended up staying up until 1 a.m., and I normally go to bed at, like, 10.
Yeah,
so
that's
I was
very
down
uncharacteristic.
3 hours worth of sleep. So I was slogging around yesterday at work, but it was fun because we got to use a power washer to power wash the outside of the building. So I got to use a pressure washer, which was fun.
That's lit.
And then I just kind of went and crashed. And now I'm here. As you can see, we'll see if I make it to the end of this episode. But all that to say, there's another thing that has been like underpinning my week, but it's a long story, so I'm going to pass it over to Jackson and I'll loop back around to it here in a minute.
All
so
right.
How have you been, Jackson?
Also exhausted. Also busy. I hate because this is just we're at a cultural moment where everyone's like, oh, how are you? Just tired. I hate saying like I'm exhausted in like a weekly recap, or someone asks how I am, they're like, oh, I'm just tired. But genuinely, like this week, I'm wiped. I'm so wiped. And I will talk about the events of this week in a minute, but it's also a longer story. That's why we're doing a chiller episode, because we just kind of want to catch up with you guys and catch up with each other and just be here. So I'm very happy to be here. I've just had a lot of classwork, a lot of work going on, and you know when I may have gone too deep into my own narrative at work, in the sense of if you ask for more hours long enough, you become the only one that knows how to do what you do, and so you have to just do it all.
Yeah.
So I kind of like, it's really good because as a lot of you know, I'm getting married in May, and so I'm very excited about that, and just kind of in a season of saving, you know. So I'm trying to earn more money and save, be just smarter with my money, and I'm doing a music video very soon that I'm very excited about for an artist in town. That's going to be great. But yeah, essentially we're just on that grind, you know. Class is a grind, work is a grind, life is a grind, but also we find little moments of joy in our grind time. But also, little disclaimer, little announcement. If you're subscribed to the Nerdiest Aftershow,
I'm glad you said something. I was about to.
We appreciate you so dearly. Thank you so much for helping us keep the lights on. If you're an Aftershow subscriber, you may have noticed that we don't have an episode out for this month yet. That's just because we genuinely have not had a second to have an original thought so that we could press record on the episode. So don't worry. We'll have that episode out very soon, and hopefully something extra just to compensate you for waiting too long. We're very sorry about that. We're still going to watch V for Vendetta. We just haven't gotten there yet, and it's genuinely just been a super crazy month, really. So sorry about that, but we really appreciate our Nerdiest After Show subscribers, and if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, it just helps us keep the lights on, and it's a monthly after show where we talk about a different movie every month, and it's like $3 a month, and it's super chill. So thank you so much to those subscribers. That episode will be out very soon. Mr. Nick, tell me about the events of your week and that kind of thing. Okay. I think I know what you're about to say.
So let's go back. Let's backtrack a little bit to last week. So last week, as most viewers of the show know, I have my own YouTube channel, Nick with no K. That's where I do a lot of my like anime talk. Occasionally I'll talk about video games and movies and whatnot. And I've been grinding to get to the YouTube monetization threshold, 3,000 watch hours, 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours, the whole shebang. Mm-hmm. So I was incredibly close to 3,000, which is the first threshold where you can unlock viewer support, which is YouTube membership, super chats, donations, YouTube shopping, that kind of stuff. And then when you hit 4,000, you then get access to watch ads. So like you can put ads on your content, and that's okay. Well, that's on every video that you put out, assuming there's no copyright issues. So I was getting incredibly close to 3,000, and I put out a video last week about how headcanons are ruining My Hero Academia, and it was really relevant because it was like this topic that had just popped up with the most recent episode, and I was like, okay, well, let me put my feelings out there. So I put it all in this video, relatively unscripted. Went over really positively, by the way, because at the end of the video, I was like, oh, yeah, most of this was unscripted. Like, I just had some bullet points here and there, and everything else was unscripted, just me looking at the camera, talking to the camera. And a lot of people commented and were like, that was unscripted? Wow. You were, like, really well organized, and your thoughts were put together, and everything was great. And I was like...
That's what podcasting teaches you, baby. Come on.
I don't know, man.
Come on.
I was just yapping. So... I put that video out last Friday, and it is currently still rising at 34,000 views.
Come on.
So needless to say, it pushed me over to the 3,000 watch hour needed, but then also throughout the week also got an extra 1,000 watch hours and hit the other goal too.
Wild.
And is like way blown up my subscriber count. It's
wild.
It's incredible. It's been such a blessing to the channel. To have that video, because I was really stressing and worrying about like, okay, well, I'm gonna hit 3,000 and then it's gonna be a slow grind of 4,000 to get the advertisements, and then it like just all happened within a week. Here's where the frustrating part comes in though. So everything gets verified, and because it takes a couple days for everything to go through the verification process, and I'm going in, I think it was yesterday morning, filling out everything to get an AdSense account, which is how you get ads. So I made a new account because I'm like, okay, eventually the podcast is going to get monetized on YouTube, and I'll just put them all under the same account, and everything will be right there, all under my name, whole shebang. Very cool, very cool. So I go sign up in the morning when I got up, went to work, got an email while I was at work yesterday. We have rejected your thing. And I'm like, what? what do you mean you rejected it? Like, I did everything. I don't, like, the channel's fine. And they're like, we actually found you have a different AdSense account already. So you can merge with that one, or you can delete it and open a new one. And I was like, okay, well, I got to do that when I get home. I'm saying this a lot more calm. I was very frustrated yesterday, but I've had time to make peace with it now, so I'm a lot more calm. So I get home, do the whole thing. I cannot close that account because that's the account that was associated with the Joystick Drift podcast. I know. Shout out for those who remember that project from like a year ago. So that account was still open. But I had tried to transfer that account to one of my other co-hosts so they could keep going. But then they didn't keep going. But I couldn't simply just close the account because you have to verify your address and verify your bank account and verify your tax information. And my name was on the account, but then my co-host tried to upload her tax information. So then they were YouTube was freaking out because the tax info didn't match the name on file. And she tried to do the address verification thing, but then never submitted the PIN that they sent her because I guess she just forgot. And like, so it's a whole process. So I'm trying to like figure it out. So I get everything straightened out. I uploaded all my new tax info, changed the address back to my address, they're sending out a new PIN so that I can get that and I can close it. And then I was like, okay, well, that's going to take a while. So let me try to get on like with customer support and talk to them and figure out maybe they can shut it down on the back end and I don't have to do the whole verification process. Right. And we can just, cause like, I'm just trying to close it so I can make a new account with this new email that I've set up for my like business. So it's separate from like my personal email and everything was like, no. So I go to because it's not YouTube support. This is what boggles my mind. Okay, hold on. I gotta stay on topic here. I will come back to my gripes with customer service in 2024 here in a second. I go to the chat because it's not YouTube support. It's Google Ads support. So I go there, fill out the thing, try to get on chat. Chat is closed because their hours of operation are from midnight to 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, and then 11 p.m. to midnight Central Standard Time. So not during any normal business hours of when anyone would be outside of work.
That means it's outsourced to a different part of the world.
Absolutely. So I stayed up till 11 last night to get on the chat line, and it was full. And I was like, okay, no harm, no foul. I'm only down a half hour sleep after already being sleep deprived. And then I stayed up for another half hour, so I was down an hour, but that's on me. So then I get up this morning, and I tried to get in on my phone, and it said it was open. And I was like, oh, okay, let me go to my computer. So I switched to my computer, get on the thing. And there's like this one key question at the bottom. It was like, are you a Chrome web developer or a Google Play Store developer? And I said, no, because I'm just a guy. And they were like, oh, only those people have access to this chat. And your only option is to email us. That's all you get. And I was like, so not only did I lose sleep last night over this, but I broke out of my normal morning routine to try to talk to you, only to find out that I cannot talk to you. I hate it here. This is ridiculous. Which brings me back
sucks.
to the point I was going to make of it's 2024 and Google has seemingly no customer support for any of their products. Ever.
Yeah, no. Nope.
Because here's the thing. Another issue I've had with YouTube is sometimes my YouTube shorts just won't get shown in feed. And like it'll get shown to 15 people and then it'll flatline and never be shown in the feed again, which for YouTube shorts is very rare because usually the impressions start off at 1,000, right?
Yeah.
And even YouTube videos, will continue to get impressions over time. It may be like one every week, but it's still continually getting some. Shorts, nothing. It'll go dead for months and stay that way and just never get shown in the feed again. So, that being said, what I've found is that I've like gotten on Twitter and said, hey, at Team YouTube, what the heck? Like, I just want to know why.
Yeah.
Every time they respond, they're like, we'll look into it and get back to you. And I'm like, okay, well, you've said that the last 4 times and you've never got back to me. So I went to Reddit, and it turns out I'm not the only person having this problem, because everyone's like, yeah, I have this problem too. It gets shown to a couple people, and then sometimes re-uploading works, sometimes it doesn't. I had one this week that flopped on Monday. I re-uploaded it on Thursday, and it got 4,000 views. So it flipped around. But I'm like, I don't want to have to trial run all of my shorts. Like, they should just work. And no one could seem to pinpoint exactly what the issue was. So I'm hopeful that once I'm actually in the partner program, I can talk to a real person and not just whoever's running the Team YouTube account and be like, hey, I just want a straight answer of what's going on here. Is it me? Is it the system? Doing something? Is it the time? Is it some setting I've turned off that is not notifying the algorithm properly? Like, what's the issue? So yeah, YouTube's great. But also maybe make it easier for normal people to talk to real people about support issues would be great. Just a thought.
Google.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So
keep us updated on the customer support saga, because this is gripping journalism, honestly. So yeah, that's great. This week for me, the overarching theme, and it's just something that I've learned about myself, and I'm putting the pieces together, and I think I make sense, but I have decided and just learned that I have zero tolerance for bad events. And what I mean by that is, if there's like a live production of some kind, like, you know, if someone's on stage with a microphone, they're talking, or a concert, or, you know, whatever. So I've worked on the creative team at a church for 3 years. And so, you know, a church service is a live event that you do every Sunday. So no matter what, the show must go on. So you have to always be adapting and always be ready. And so this week I went to one bad event, and it was just like this panel that I had to go to for school, and it was very dry, and it was like passing the microphone between 9 different people who all had the same thing to say, and it was super annoying. And I genuinely got so angry, because I was like, this is so easy. Like, live production and like scheduling is easy. I feel like this is common sense of like, hey, if you want to engage an audience of people, don't just let 9 people pass a microphone and say the same things for an hour. That's not how this works. And that was hammered even harder because for a class this week, I had to go to a film festival that was local. And it was one of the experiences of all time. And it was just genuinely very frustrating because I feel like it was not that hard, but they made it very difficult on themselves, and they like split it up into a ton of different locations, and then they didn't really have like a bar for films. And so we watched like 10 of these comedy skits that were kind of hard to get through, and it was so frustrating because I was like, oh, like I did sketch comedy on YouTube for years, and like what I was doing in, 10th grade is funnier than what's in this festival, which is so frustrating because there's all you have to do is say no. Like literally just have a quality standard.
Yeah.
And it got, I'm going to tell this story as PG as possible.
Oh no.
Let's just say one of the films was inappropriate.
Ooh.
And I ended up getting up and stepping into the hall for a few minutes during said film. There was inappropriate scenes in said film at this local film festival. And I was like, this is so weird. It was so inappropriate. It was bad, really bad. And then we were just like in the hall, like, this is crazy. Why am I here? And then I was like, oh, okay, they're talking now. It's good. I'm good. No, they did a director's Q&A with this lady who made this super inappropriate movie that we were just like, what the heck? It was, you ever have those experiences that you're just like essentially a new core memory formed in my head. And you ever just have those experiences where you're like, this is going to be one of those stories that I have for my whole life. Like this is my only other example that I can think of. One time at a local venue, I got asked if I could open for a stand-up comedian in town.
Oh, I remember this.
Do you remember this?
I do.
And I was kind of like, I've never done live stand-up, but I can. And I prepared this whole thing. And then when I got there, we did this whole show, and my family was the only people that came. And so I made $50 doing a stand-up act for my family. And then they had to listen to this other guy after who was really bad. And it was also really inappropriate. And I was just like, I cannot believe I dragged my family into this. So anyway, long story short, event planning is not hard. Just have common sense and know your audience. It just generally have a calendar. I feel like I'm so frustrated because we've gotten to the point where we like anyone can plan an event or anyone can do social media and it's like, no, you can't. You can't. There is a level of skill required to do this at a high quality. And if you're not doing it at a high quality, don't do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my rant for the week is everyone thinks that they can do events and they can't. It's just not, they can't.
Well, it's like that's the same way that like podcasting has become so oversaturated because everyone wants to do a podcast because everyone's like, oh, well, I can sit in front of a microphone and talk about, you know, my favorite the herbal tea for an hour. And it's like, yeah,
Right.
but can you talk about your favorite herbal teas for 134 episodes? I think not. And that's where I think a lot of people get stuck is they think podcasting is just talking, and it's not. It is just talking to a certain extent. Like that's, if you really boil it down, then yes, that's exactly what it is. It's just talking. But there's so much more to it than that. There's figuring out what your topics are, picking guests to come on, like scheduling episodes, coming up with a schedule of like, are you going to be bi-weekly or are you going to be weekly? Like, there's all these things.
If you're self-promoting and then you need to know all of your gear, like you need to low-key have a pretty good understanding of like audio equipment. And if you want to do video, someone's got to edit that. That requires specialty.
Yep.
So,
and if you're going to pay someone to edit, that costs money.
And then, you know, money's not coming in because of an oversaturated market. And I think there's even like, I've noticed this about like social media too, where I'm kind of like, here's the thing. Social media is not hard, but content is. And if your social media has bad content, it's bad. Right. So there's this misconception that like, oh yeah, podcasting is easy. Social media is easy. And it's like, yeah, if you're talking about the scheduling or the topics or whatever, sure, that could be seen as an easy thing anyone could do. But if your content is not there, then the audience will leave because there's 1,000 other options that are doing it way better. So if you're not like executing at the highest quality possible, or even like if you're a film festival and you're just pumping and dumping whatever gets submitted without any thought to sequencing or finding a good venue or marketing well or having a good brand, hey, guess what? There's a billion other film festivals that I could submit to. Why on earth would I go to yours where you're going to play, you know, a really inappropriate film right after mine with no warning and not tell anybody? Like, what if I brought my kids to this? Like,
right. And I think that's a bigger issue that I thought about when you brought it up was like, well, what if that was before or after my project?
Right.
Like, I should have been informed about the content of the things I'm appearing alongside.
Right.
Not that like puts a negative light on you per se.
Right.
But it's like,
but I'm
to
associating.
Your point, what if I brought my kids to this because I want to show them my movie and nobody warned me about the contents? Like, even if it was just like, here's the movie title, here's a brief description of a rating of what happens. Right. Because, like, we went last year and they had ratings for all the movies.
Yeah, they did. They did
so,
not have it this year.
Which they rated yours M.
They rated
or not
mine
M,
R.
It was R.
Which is so funny because it was like one of the tamer ones. It was just really
it wasn't even that bad. I don't even know why.
No.
I think it's because we shot a fake cat.
We shot a fake cat with a fake gun.
Yeah, we shot a fake cat with a
gun.
Nerf gun and a VFX bullet. That was it.
And then it was rated R.
It wasn't even that bad.
Wasn't even that bad. And, you know, there are film festivals that do like, you know, there's an like after hours section of some film festivals.
Right.
So they're like, hey, these submissions are a little more adult. They're going to be a little more violent. Or if they're, you know, hey, we're not going to put this in the general audience. And so if that's what you're looking for, come this time. But that's not what we're doing because it's not appropriate for a general audience. What? Who was going to tell me that? And then to pull her in, and then to pull in this person for a director's Q&A. And it's just like, are you... That just kind of showed me, I was like, you are fully supporting this. Like, not even like, oh, it was in the middle somewhere. Like, it was the ending film with a Q&A. I was like, you are fully supporting this kind of content, and I do not get behind that. I don't. And so it's just kind of like knowing your audience and curating that, it's just really distasteful and really disappointing, because I care very deeply about local film scenes and like very local creative scenes. Because like you should be proud of your town. You should be like happy like where you live and, you know, want to support the creative scene there. But when it's like so on the other side of what you believe in, that's really hard, because this is part of the reason I just throw a lot of my projects on YouTube, because I'm like, I don't see a huge future in the local creative scene.
Right.
And that makes me really sad. But I also can't single-handedly save it. Like, I'm not the almighty quality savior of the local film festival scene. So I'm just kind of like, honestly, this week, I feel like I've just been really disappointed and like kind of discouraged, just about the future of art, truly. But YouTube's going well. I've got some good projects coming down the pipeline that I'm really excited about. And so this is a momentary lapse, but I'm grieving the death of quality. So,
yeah, that's fair.
Random news point, based on when you're listening to this, you might know there is a hurricane going through America right now.
Wow.
So prayers to all our Florida friends and any surrounding states affected,
including
prayers
our
to
own.
you guys, including our own. Prayers to anyone out there who just you know, is getting the help they need or isn't getting the help they need. But this weather phenomenon brings up one of my favorite icebreaker questions in history.
We can't do this again.
Here we are. If you were going to get sucked into a tornado.
Oh, no.
You are going to get sucked into a tornado, but you get to play any song you want while you're in this tornado for the full duration of the song before you die in this tornado. What song are you playing? You get to play the whole song. You get to listen to it. And I have a playlist on my phone called Songs I Want Playing When I Get Sucked Into a Tornado. So give me some examples of some good tornado songs that you're feeling.
What did we say the rules were? You would be in the tornado as long as the song was?
As long as the song was. You would play the whole song and then die at the end.
You still subjected to all the pain?
I'll say no.
Oh, so it's a painless just spin around a tornado.
It's like, yeah, you're just spinning.
Oh,
you know?
Freebird by Leonard Skinner. Let's start there.
That
would be sick.
Everyone
you
says,
know how
everyone
sick
says
that would
Freebird.
Dude, that would go crazy.
I think of my first thought is always my heart will go on. And if you just like near, far, wherever you are, but you're just like flying around. I also have the final countdown. I think that would go crazy. On this playlist, I have Sweden from Minecraft. Can you imagine? You're like flying in circles, like things just like rubble is just like flying past you, and all you can hear is boom, 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 boom. I think that would be so funny.
My brain goes to that one country song where she's like, shatter every window till it's all blown away. And I'm like,
it's a really great Carrie Underwood song. Every bruise, every door, every slamming door blown away. Till there's nothing left standing, nothing left of yesterday.
I gotta squeeze some anime in there too. What's the one you really liked from the one show?
Oh, from Mashal?
Yeah.
Like,
custard.
Dude, chocolate.
Chocolate.
So funky love. So sweet. That song is so weird.
Just getting whipped around in a tornado, and you're like, "Sugar cream, funky love."
So sweet.
That would go crazy.
That song is so weird.
What else? Let me scroll through my Spotify.
What about,
Africa by Toto.
Gonna take a lot to drive me away from you. I have Pocket Full of Sunshine. You know that one?
Sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. Oh yeah,
that's a good one. It's Raining Men. That's a classic. You can't.
Well, if we're in there, definitely.
That
Cookout Run.
What? Who sings that? What?
Cookout Run by Jackson. What? Oh, dude, the Cup of Life by Ricky Martin. Go, 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 go. Ole, ole, ole.
But in the tornado.
Yes, but in the tornado. What else do we got here?
You know, Rasputin. You can't go wrong with Rasputin.
Yeah.
You Spin Me Round Like a Record. Great song. Banger.
What's your go-to if you could only listen to one VeggieTales song in a tornado, what would it be?
Dude, if it ain't... Okay.
You can only pick one.
This doesn't really count. I was going to say Jesus Take the Wheel.
No.
But that's
one
not
of their
an
original songs, not a
VeggieTales
cover.
Song. Hold on, I got to look. because I want to say like sport utility vehicle, but I feel like there's a better option.
That song is so overrated.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. That song is
such a good
so
song.
overrated.
As someone that like has an SUV, I think it.
I have an SUV too.
Do you have a choice for VeggieTale song if you were gonna?
I think mine either has to be his cheeseburger or Pizza Angel.
His cheeseburger,
Both relating
in
to
tornado would go insane.
You are his cheeseburger, his yummy cheeseburger. Be back for you, be back for you.
The yodeling veterinarian of the Alps would be good.
Oh, dude, that is so good. What a banger.
I'm also thinking of oh no, what we gonna do? The king likes Daniel more than me and you. Oh no, what we gonna do? We gotta get him out of here.
Ba-dum-bum-bum. Oh, Never Gonna Give You Up?
Oh, banger. Such a good,
Not VeggieTales,
such a good
but
choice, but a great choice regardless.
Can we, unless you have any more to add to the list, I want to loop back around to something, to a song I said, because it made me think of something, but it's going to be a completely different topic.
I have one more. Do you know Awesome God by Michael W. Smith? He goes, our God is an awesome God, he reigns.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that when you're just flying through this tornado and it's just this choir behind you? Man. Okay, what else? What else do you have?
Okay, so when I said Africa by Toto, first of all, I had to double check myself and make sure it wasn't Toto by Africa, because I always get those two flipped around. But it made me think about 4 years ago, because it's like end of September.
Yeah.
We're getting into like October. 4 years ago, we did a thing.
No.
That
don't
involves
talk
Toto
about
by
this.
Africa.
Don't talk about this.
I said it wrong. That involves Africa by Toto.
Yeah,
we have a lot of new audience members since then.
I want to redo this bit so bad because it was so funny.
I do too. It was good. So, for those who don't know, every 4 years, right? Because we have a really big Brazilian audience, so let me fill you guys in just in case you don't know. Shout out to all of you, even though you can't see me on Twitter anymore. Rest in peace, homie. Every 4 years, there's a U.S. presidential election.
Okay,
it's 2024. So we have one this year, had one in 2020, right? Okay.
Yeah, right.
Now that everybody's on the same page, Jackson and I thought it would be a really good idea.
Because it was.
In 2020. Because in 2020, you had like the COVID and then the election was really stressful. Like, okay, let's poke fun at that. So we kind of went all in on the bit of like both of us running for president, but in a spoof kind of way.
We did a political
Not like
satire.
Seriously. So like on Nick with No K, I put out a like campaign ad. Jackson put out a campaign ad on his own channel. And then we came together and did a Zoom debate.
Yes.
Which was really funny.
I still think it was really funny.
And it's a very well put together video for what we were capable of doing in 2020. I mean, it could look 10 times better now. But we either need to settle up and do something or we got to wait another 4 years.
Dude, I want to do it again so bad.
So if you want to pen something up, I'm open. My schedule can be cleared. But all that to say, Africa by Toto. One of my things was I wanted to change the national anthem from the Star Spangled Banner to Africa by Toto. And I demonstrated this by pulling out a kazoo, and I started playing Africa on kazoo over the mic.
And he did it
and
really
that was
poorly.
Like all part of the bit. I love that debate so much.
Yeah, I think about that sometimes because of how brilliant of a joke it is to change the U.S. national anthem to Africa. That is like an S tier bit.
It's
Truly.
Not like God Bless the USA.
No.
Courtesy of the red, white, and blue. No. Africa by Toto.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Truly, I've had this idea for a political satire where a normal U.S. candidate is
Thank
debating.
you for implying that none of ours are normal.
Yeah, of course.
No, they're not. But
where a normal politician is debating the CEO of Spirit Airlines for president, and everyone kind of realizes that like the Spirit Airlines guy would low-key be really good at it. And he's kind of like, look, if someone knows anything about a sinking ship, it's me. Like, you want to talk about a flaming mess of crashing, that's me. I can do it. So anyway, maybe we'll do that November, just whip something together. It'd be funny.
we got to do something quick because it's almost.
Yeah, we got a month.
We got a month away.
We got a month.
I'm at a point where I'm like, I need this election to be over. Like, without saying who I'm voting for, even though it's probably very obvious if you follow me on Twitter, unless you're Brazilian, and then you can't. But I just want it to be over. Like, I'm sick of it on both sides. I'm like, can we just do it now and call it a day and get it over with? Because I'm tired.
It's the unknown.
I just want to. I just want to be able to afford gas and buy food and go to bed.
Whoever wins, it's gonna be fine. We're gonna work it out. We're gonna figure it out. It's not the end of the world. So let's just get it over
we don't
with.
know. No man knows the day or the hour. So I mean,
That's so true. So
those
true.
trumpets wanted to blast right before I pressed vote on the voting machine. Amen, brother. I don't got to worry about it anymore.
God is we sovereign God, and He's gonna work it out for His glory. So anyway,
away,
here we are.
I don't want to be ready.
So here we are, talking about what we've been watching, and we haven't done this in a long time. But genuinely, I can say there's no big news points because the Minecraft movie is still just kind of what everyone's talking about, and it's like, well, we've already hit that nail on the head. So yeah, this is just kind of a recap of like what we've been watching, what we've been talking about. Super chill. If you made it to this far in the episode and you're just kind of like, what the heck are we doing? So fair. This is just a super casual episode that we like to do every once in a while. So thank you so much for being here. And if you like what you're seeing, make sure you follow us on Instagram at The Nerdiest Podcast, on YouTube at The Nerdiest Podcast, or if you want to go even farther, you can go to thenerdiespodcast.com and buy some of our exclusive merch where we have pins and stickers and hats and shirts and any mugs, anything you'd ever want is on there at thenerdiespodcast.com, exclusively there. And if that's not enough for you, you could become an Aftershow member, like we mentioned earlier. You could pay $3 a month on Spotify, and then you get a bonus Aftershow. So thank you so much. We're going to get into what we've been watching. So, what did we say? We're going to go back like the last 3 months. Like,
I mean, we could do that, or
July, August,
we could
September.
go what we've been watching since July 25th, 2022.
Which is when we did our last.
That was the last one. It was episode 73.
I can honestly say I would like to get out of here within the hour. So if you want to not talk about everything we've watched since 2022, that would be great. So I think
I don't even know what I've watched, dude.
June, July, August. Wait, no. July, August, September.
Oh, we can start with Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yes.
Because
we watched that.
Did we talk about that at all?
I don't know. I watched that July 25th. We were supposed to do an episode on it, and then we just didn't. It was
no. We were supposed to do an episode with Genre Geeks.
I wasn't gonna name drop.
Well, it's not their fault. It's our fault.
No,
because
you're right.
We got really busy.
Couldn't schedule with them because I was out of town. That's definitely our fault. But yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine was a great watch in July. Right. Do you think that's gonna end? The year's gonna end, and people are gonna say that was the best movie of the year?
No. Do you know why?
Why?
Because Sonic 3 hasn't come out yet. Duh.
Okay, my bad. Ooh.
Come on, genius. Get with the program.
So, Deadpool and Wolverine is my second favorite new movie of the year, behind The Fall Guy, which if you haven't watched The Fall Guy, It's genuinely amazing. So please go watch that. Yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine, it's a good movie. It's kind of like if...
What did I rate it?
I did 4 stars. I think 4 stars. 4.5 stars. Because I genuinely loved it. But it's kind of like if No Way Home is chaotic bad, Deadpool and Wolverine is chaotic good. That's kind of where I'm at on it.
I'd still watch Deadpool and Wolverine before I'd watch No Way Home again.
Oh, same. Wholeheartedly. Me too.
Because at least I thought Deadpool and Wolverine was funny. I gave it a 3.5.
Yeah.
Mainly because, and I know it sounds dumb, but it's like my opinion, so cry about it, I guess. I didn't like all the swearing. Like,
yeah.
It was just and I'm like, I'm fine. They swear in anime sometimes. Like, I'm not opposed to swearing. It was just the sheer volume and amount of it. And I didn't feel like it was used creatively either. It was just like, oh, Deadpool says the F word at the end of every second. Or sentence, not second.
Just cause.
Like, just cause. Like, Wolverine says a lot of bad words a lot, and that's just how it is. And it's like, yes and no?
Yes.
Like, to a certain extent, he shouldn't have to. And, like, again, I'm not opposed to swearing, but just, like, make it creative. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So there was that. Other than that,
sense.
I thought it was pretty good. It was funny. I liked the action. I thought the choreography was great. The story was all right. It's a little confusing and adds a lot to the Marvel universe that I felt like didn't need to be there.
Was this the end of the multiverse, you think?
No. Because they're already theorizing and speculating that Robert Downey Jr. is not the real Doctor Doom because they picked him to introduce the character through the multiverse, and then he's going to get killed off, and they're going to show off the real one. And I'm like, okay, whatever. No, they're not done with the multiverse. It makes too much sense financially. But from a storytelling perspective, it's bankrupt. The multiverse is a very narratively bankrupt idea because it removes all sense of stakes from anything. Because if you say, oh, if we kill Iron Man, okay, well, just hop to a different multiverse and grab a different one.
Yeah. Yeah, it just removes the fun, too, because it's kind of like, I think when you have to operate within those restrictions where, you know, that's when there's actual creativity to happen. And so, like, we wonder why Marvel used to be so much better when I'm like, yeah, because their goal was to make a fun superhero movie with a good story. And now it's like, oh, if it doesn't connect to these 18 different spin-off movies, sorry, it's not going to do well. And it's like, it has to be this multiverse thing. And I'm just like, guys, well, they even said in Deadpool, they're like, guys, the multiverse doesn't work. They're like, this is not working. This isn't it. So, I don't know. Agatha all along just like started on Disney Plus, and I like low key want to watch it because I love WandaVision so much, but I'm also like,
but it doesn't have any correlation to WandaVision.
It doesn't have
really,
any correlation, so I'm like, oh, I don't know. And I like Katherine Hahn a lot. She's a great actress. But Agatha's was arguably the worst part of WandaVision. So... I liked
what Agatha brought as a villain, but I didn't need a full spin-off with her.
That's the other thing. Like, I just watched a really good Drew Gooden video where he essentially just made the point is he was like, everyone is just trying to waste our time right now. He's like, why do we feel like we have to make a spin-off of everything? It's a waste of time. It's a waste of resources. It's a waste of money. And here's the thing. who's to say that Disney Plus hasn't been a money laundering scam this entire time?
So there's actually a fun addendum to that. Remember last time?
Oh.
I think it was last episode. We talked about the Acolyte had a budget of $180 million. That's not true. Disney had to fact check us. It was actually $230 million.
Per episode?
No, for the whole thing.
Oh, for the
but
whole
that's
show.
an extra $50 million as opposed to what the original number was. I don't know why they felt like they had to clarify that. They were like, the number's wrong. We actually spent a lot more. Usually, if people are using the price as a down part of your series, you don't clarify and say you spent more.
No, you're right.
You just
it's worse.
say, oh, yeah, you guys are right. Okay, nobody tell them that we spent $50 million more. You'll never be able to convince me that Disney Plus has not turned into a money laundering scheme. I don't think it was before, but I think it definitely is now. Because it's like, okay, $230 million. Where does all that money go?
Where did it go?
Because you surely
look at the show.
Not paying your actors.
Look at the money. Where did it go? So
just saying.
Yeah, and it's kind of stupid because I'm like, what can Disney Plus do to come back at this point?
Nothing.
Because here's the thing.
Nothing.
I feel like since they've merged with Hulu, it's lost its identity. Like it's become just another streaming service where it used to be like I'm a Disney fan. I'm wearing my Living with the Land shirt like I do in pretty much every freaking episode. Nick's wearing his Walt Disney's public domain shirt that you can get on the nerdiestpodcast.com, by the way. But I love Disney. So let me see Disney, you know? I don't need some random like documentary thing in my Disney Plus feed because I also use Hulu. So like just keep them separate for now. Just
right. I also don't think
like,
that I know we're here to talk about what we've been watching and we'll get back to that in a second.
We will.
But this has like opened up a whole different rabbit trail of I don't think the merger was a good move because now you've got kids on Disney Plus who have access to things that are on Hulu that they shouldn't have access to. And
right.
Like
and
it goes back to what we were talking
can
about.
Only go so far.
Right. And it goes back to what we were talking about last episode with the whole like you hand your kid a streaming service, you have no idea what they're watching on there.
Yeah.
Like you can have a broad idea of what's on Disney Plus, but you'll never truly know everything. As opposed to being like, hey, here's the DVD shelf. You can watch anything on that shelf and just stick it in the DVD player. Whereas streaming is like, it could be whatever. So I don't know. I also think people are getting really sick of streaming because the price goes up every single year, which my granddad feels so vindicated because when like Disney Plus first came out and it was like, oh, it's only $9 a month. He was like, they're luring you in with a super low price. And then over time, they're going to raise it up to what the actual price was supposed to be from the start, which will be somewhere around $18 to $20. And where are we at? We're at like $16 a month for Disney Plus.
Which is wild.
And you can't tell me it's because costs have increased. You can't tell me it's because of inflation.
No. You know what's so interesting is I feel like I'm at a point. I don't know if this is going to be like, I might eat my words on this later. I feel like I'm at a point where I could probably survive without streaming. Because here's the thing, except for when I want to watch a movie. So whenever I want to watch a movie, I'm instantly like going on this like stalker level like data research of where I can find this movie. Do I have a subscription? Does someone else have a subscription? Or do I have it physically? No. Do I have the subscription? Okay. If the answer's no, is there a free version somewhere? If the answer's no, does someone else have a subscription? And so it's like, the only streaming I watch right now is Dropout, which is, I've talked about before. It's like really just great improv. But other than that, unless I'm watching a movie, I'm either picking something from my DVD shelf or I'm watching YouTube. So it's kind of like I'm not like actively like watching anything on these services that are like keeping me there. I'm just kind of hooked into my family's streaming stuff, which I feel like was where a lot of people are. So I don't know. Just buy physical, guys.
I think I could sufficiently live without. Well, I can't live without streaming because Crunchyroll counts.
Right.
But I basically live without Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus. Like, we have Netflix. I think that's the only streaming service we still pay for, just because everyone in the house uses it enough. Yeah. But I pay for my own Crunchyroll. I pay for my own High Dive. I'm stealing your Hulu until they crack down on the password sharing, which they just implemented on Disney Plus. So I don't know how that affects things going forward. I might have to just get my own account, which would suck. Yeah. But there's 2 anime on there that I need to finish, and then after that, I'm like, okay, I can peace out for now.
Honestly, if I could only have one streaming, I'd probably choose Disney Plus, just because I'm like, there's always something on there, whether it's like a National Geographic thing or just a classic Disney movie or some random Disney Channel show that I want to watch. And I complain about the Hulu merger, but like, there's some good shows on there now. Like, you can find like Food Network and HGTV shows and stuff like that. And so it's kind of like convenient. I just want them separate. Like, you can merge the companies and keep them separate on the TV.
Right.
Anyway, that's a whole nother trail.
Yeah.
So as far as what we've been watching, hit me with like 2 or 3 just like highlights from the last 3 months of just like either really good. Okay, here's what we'll do. Give me 2 really great things you watched and 1 really bad thing you watched the last 3 months.
Okay. 2 really great. Mine is going to be all anime. I just want to preface that.
That's okay.
So 2 really good. Let me look. 2 really good. I finished an anime called Windbreaker a couple weeks ago. I actually have a video out about it on YouTube.
Windbreaker.
And listen, man. No. Look at this. I can't make it. Oh, I can. They're covered in like a green aura around them too. So like they kind of knew what they were doing. But it's this anime about these like,
I'm like 12
delinquents who fight all the time, and it was actually really good. It had some really solid choreography. I liked the messaging and the themes and the stuff. That was really good. It was fun. I've been watching My Hero Season 7, which has been phenomenal to watch. And hats off to the studio for actually locking in and making a good season and being consistent for what seems like will be all 21 episodes. We still have 3 more to go. But I've been watching that. And then one really bad was I watched this show called Hell's Paradise, which was not... I watched like 5 episodes and I was like, I can't do this. I have so many better... I used to be a perfectionist who was like, I need to watch all 12 episodes just so I can mark it off and say that I've watched it and da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
I watched 5 episodes and I was like, I can't do this. And I dropped it. I was like, I have so much more free time. I only have a limited amount of time. And that time needs to go to things I actually like and I'm enjoying. And if this is not one of those things, I need to get rid of it.
That's what we've been talking about, is there's a quality level, and if you're not hitting that quality level, other people are, and you get left behind. Like, sucks to suck.
Yeah. And I mean, it wasn't even like bad in the sense of poorly produced, because it looks great. I didn't like the story, because there's a lot of essentially the premise is these death row inmates, instead of being executed, they get sent to this island that is Hell's Paradise, and they're supposed to look for this elixir of immortality to bring back to the king or whatever. And whoever brings it back will get a pardon for their crimes. So this guy, the main character, is like trying to get the elixir so that he can get pardoned so that he can go back and live with his wife. And I was like, that part's cool. But there's a lot of other stuff in it that I'm like, I don't care. And I can't watch this. So I snubbed it and moved on.
Such a good word. I really do believe in, like, if you're not liking it, turn it off. Like,
if it does not spark joy,
you have free will. You have the free will to turn off the TV or leave the room or, just turn it off. If you don't like it, turn it off,
Exactly.
Let me see. 2 really good and 1 really bad. I think really good. I watched a documentary that was that I liked way more than I thought, and I don't think I've talked about it on this show. Have I talked about American Movie?
I don't think
on this show. Okay, so I watched this really great documentary called American Movie, and it's from 1999, and it's this documentary following this Midwestern kid. I say kid, he was like 25. This Midwestern guy, and he is so painfully Midwestern, and they follow him over like a decade. It's like this long thing. And he wants nothing more but to make his dream movie.
Oh, this is the one you were telling me about.
I was telling you about. I think you would
week.
like it. The language is kind of bad, but it's not consistent. It's just like Midwestern people that like drink a lot and say bad words. So he's just painfully Midwestern and wants nothing more but to make his movie called Coven, but he calls it Colvin because he's like so Midwestern. He goes, I gotta record the additional dialogue for Colvin. And so it's so funny. And it's just this goober guy that like you can't help but root for because he's got so much spirit. And he just wants to make a movie. And it's kind of sad, honestly, because later in the movie he kind of like sacrifices a lot of things to make his movie. And like he's not really a great father and he can't keep like a dating relationship and all this stuff because he's just like an alcoholic and is obsessed with filmmaking. So if you're a creative and you just like need a good like inspirational watch, honestly, like American Movie is great because it's so down to earth, truly. That's a good one. Another good movie that I'm trying to pick something a little more niche. I watched Christopher Nolan's first movie. It's called Following, and it's from 1998, and it's so interesting because you can see the Christopher Nolanism of it in the sense of like it's not in a congruent timeline, like it kind of jumps around and you have to put the pieces together and there's like a big reveal at the end and it's kind of like mind melting. But it's about this guy who is a writer and he decides to become a better writer. He wants to follow people. And so he's kind of like a weirdo creep guy and he just follows people. Like he just like follows them throughout their day. But then he follows the wrong guy and starts following this criminal. And then the criminal confronts the author guy, and then they start doing crime together. And it's really interesting because you can tell something's wrong because of the way the editing is, because like you see the future, so but you don't really get it until the very end. It's very Christopher Nolan. This is just a nerdy thing, but it was shot on like $6,000, and most of the budget went to the film because it was shot on, I think, 8mm film. It's black and white film, and the audio of the movie is really bad because the whole time you can hear the film running on the camera because it was made on such a small budget. But it's a really great movie for small budget filmmaking because it's kind of like he didn't have a ton of stuff. Pretty much all of the lighting is natural, so sometimes you just can't see stuff. But the story is really great. The actors are really great. I would recommend it if you want to like have the novelty of seeing Christopher Nolan's first movie. But I will say it's not close to the scale of what he's doing now.
I would hope he's improved since then.
I would hope so.
If not, I think that's a problem.
That would be a problem. As far as bad movies, I can honestly say I haven't watched a lot of bad movies. A movie I watched recently that I didn't understand, and it's a movie that a lot of people really, really like, but I don't get Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And have you ever seen this movie?
No. So
the Coen brothers directed it, and it's essentially it's the Odyssey, but it's rednecks. So like George Clooney and like these are the only one I recognize, but they just kind of like they're 3 escaped prisoners, and it's a super stylized like it's a comedy, and they're just kind of like running around, and they do like random stuff, and it's just kind of I didn't get it. And all the people I talked to, they were like, yeah, that's the point. Like, it's just kind of like a series of random weird events. And I was like, okay, but I don't think that's good.
Yeah,
so it was funny, and the music was really good. But other than that, it was enjoyable, but I didn't really get it. And so maybe I need to watch a video essay about it. But honestly, I'm at a point in my life where if I need to watch something that explains a movie to me, I question if it's a good movie. I'm going to be honest. honest.
I think that's fair.
Which sounds like a really like, oh, you just don't like serious cinema. Oh, you just don't want to watch anything too complicated. Like, you just want to watch, little like Marvel movies with green screen. I'm like, no, I want to know what's happening on screen. I want to understand the story.
Yeah, that's very different than like watching a Marvel movie. Oh,
Right.
I don't even want to say that because I don't like that argument of, oh, well, Marvel movies are simple and you're a baby because you watch Marvel movies. Like, no, I
Right.
just want to be entertained. Like,
Yeah.
I don't need a deep introspection on life. I want to be entertained.
Right.
So,
And if you like those films, that's great. Like, please enjoy them as much as you want. But also, don't like come after me for not liking those films, because I'm just kind of like, I want to watch Mall Cop. Like that. That's really where my. So I don't know. I think that I've kind of realized how we are like the anti-film bro podcast, because
and I'm okay with
we
that.
are for real, just like. But Sonic 3, guys, Sonic 3 is coming soon. We can do it. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Have you watched anything else recently that you just feel so inclined to talk about?
Well, there's one show I'm watching, but I can't talk about it because I haven't made a video about it yet.
Oh,
But that's been consuming a lot of my
exclusive.
time. The video should be out by the end of October. Assuming I actually get the script done on time, which granted I have a month to do it and the script's kind of halfway done, so we're almost there.
Can I get a tease? What is the show? Oh
no, I'm watching this show. I've told you.
Yeah, I know what you're watching. I was curious.
So I just don't want to say
I was curious
it.
to see if you'd say anything.
No. This is my best kept secret, and I'm not saying anything until the video comes out. What I have been watching though, I don't have anything bad. I've switched over to my currently watching tab, which is 14 shows.
Holy cow.
So I've been watching Oshinoko season 2, which has been phenomenal, utterly phenomenal, dude. They are knocking it out of the park. It looks great, and I can't wait for us to revisit it one day because I think you're gonna love it. Because a lot of the I feel like a lot of the issues you had with the first season start to get answered and rectified in the second season.
Okay.
So I think that'll be fun. I've been watching Tower of God, which is another anime. It's all anime.
Okay.
I don't need to keep saying it.
Of course.
With some guys from church, we meet up before young adults once a week, and we all sit down and we watch anime. So we've been watching Tower of God together, which is great.
Of course, the church anime group watches Tower of God.
It's great. It's great. So we do that.
Oh.
What else do I feel like I need to mention? I'm one episode away from finishing a romance anime about a Russian girl and a guy who... what really throws me off is I'm watching the dub for this, right? And the main protagonist is voiced by the same guy as Shirogane from Love is War. So it's if I had a nickel for every time this guy played a protagonist in a high school romance anime where he's involved with the student council, I'd have two nickels. So,
which isn't a lot.
That one's really good.
Twice.
Other than that, it's just been a lot of like picking up the seasonal stuff. The fall season for anime is about to start, and there's a lot of shows coming up in the fall that I'm really excited about. I actually did a whole video about that. That'll be out a couple days after this episode. So that's it. I'm just watching a lot of anime, and I think it's very interesting to draw a comparison to like you've been going to the theater and watching a lot of movies. I've only been watching anime. Like I've not been going to the theaters, but I am about to get Regal Unlimited for October, November, December because there's a lot of stuff. I want to go back and see Transformers 1 and The Wild Robot that came out in September. And then October, there's an anime movie coming out called Look Back that I want to go see. The My Hero movie comes out next month. The Pharrell movie comes out next month.
Wait, is The Wild Robot out?
I think it came out today.
Oh.
I think.
What am I doing Tuesday? Hold on.
So there's that. There's a bunch of other stuff in October. And then like November, Moana 2 is going to come out. There's a couple other things. But then also December has Sonic 3 and the Lord of the Rings anime movie that I want to go see.
That looks good.
It does look good. I know a lot of people are like, wait, it doesn't follow the Tolkien book. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Like, I understand why you're upset. If they did it with Star Wars, I'd probably be in the same boat. I get it.
Yeah.
And if it's not like a faithful adaptation of his work, okay, that sucks. What does frustrate me though is that because this Western grifters coming in to normalize my culture here with anime. Listen. No. Let me back up. This is what makes me frustrated, right?
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, The War of Rohirrim or whatever it's called, is an anime movie. It has a Japanese director. It was animated by a Japanese studio. It's an anime movie for all intensive purposes. Do you know what else is an anime movie? Suzume. They came out last year. Suzume got sent to like one theater in every state in the U.S. Very little distribution. Lord of the Rings is going to get put in every single theater in America. Do you know what the difference is? They attached a massive IP to it, and that frustrates me to no end, because the only reason an anime movie like that will get respect is because it has a big name attached to it. Because it's like Lord of the Rings anime, and it's like, oh, I need to go see the Lord of the Rings anime. And it's like, and I'm not talking about like, oh, it's going to reach a wider audience. It's going to reach a wider populace. I mean, like, when the Oscars roll around and we get Best Animated Feature, it's probably going to be up there. But a movie like Suzume wouldn't, because it doesn't have a big like name attached to it. And that's the frustrating part, is like IP attach big name to it. I don't know. This does feel like the one area, and I'm going to do a whole video on this, of how like the West is poisoning and ruining anime culture. I do feel like this Lord of the Rings movie is one exception to that because, like, from everything I've seen, Peter Jackson has been very involved and hands-on and, like, working with the director in the studio, like, to make sure it's actually good. As opposed to, like, every time I walk in Books A Million and there's a new American thing, but it's Japanese, of, like, here's Spider-Man the manga, Joker the manga, Batman and Superman the manga, Disney the manga. And I'm like...
Yeah.
Okay,
well,
you guys
are
are
capitalizing on what's popular, but they don't understand why it's popular.
Exactly. It's all of these like American brands jumping to the popular thing without recognizing why people switched from comics to manga. And it's dumb, but I'll get off my soapbox because I need to save it for the video.
Hey, it's okay. I think honestly most of my movie consumption has been from classes recently. Just because I'm in a couple classes where we were watching movies. So we watched this German film called Run Lola Run. And it was kind of weird. It was fine. It was just like a pretty standard like time loop story where like, oh, she has 20 minutes to get this much money to her boyfriend before the gang comes and gets him, and you know, she has to find the best route for, you know, she does this 20 times and has to find the best route. But there's actually a Phineas and Ferb episode that's a spoof of this movie called Run Candace Run. So it's kind of interesting to be like, oh, this is like what they were inspired by. So that was cool. I wouldn't watch it again. German films are so weird, dude.
Germans are a weird bunch.
It's from 1998, and it was a lot of like house EDM beats throughout the whole movie. And the editing was really like quick and flashy. So it was kind of like 90 minutes of that "you wouldn't steal a car" ad. You know what I'm talking about? Like, you wouldn't steal a car. You wouldn't steal a purse. And so it was like that, but like 90 minutes. So I wouldn't really watch it again. I watched The Princess Bride last week for like a movie night. And here's the thing. The Princess Bride is awesome. It's a great movie. It's super universal. It's a super fun, like, clean movie that's 90 minutes. So it's kind of like the ideal, like, group movie night movie. But here's the thing. Because it's the ideal group movie night movie, I feel like I've seen it 100 times. Because anytime there's, like, a group movie night, they're just like, let's just watch The Princess Bride. So I've been trying to, like, rack my brain of, like, what is another option? And I just don't really have one. Other than maybe, like, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but even then that doesn't have the same appeal as The Princess Bride.
Emperor's New Groove?
That is a good one. I think I don't believe this, but I would see other people saying that they would be turned off from it being animated. But I don't know. I'm trying to think about a mass appeal thing. I'm trying to think about the mass appeal. I'm trying to think about the mass appeal because
it's a Disney movie.
Groove is dope. Yeah, I think that's a good pick. You do Emperor's New Groove. I think the Lego Batman movie is a really great pick. If just like it kind of checks all the boxes for a great movie night. Maybe this is a video I need to do. Is this like the most ideal group movie, or like what are the credentials for like the perfect group movie? Interesting. Okay. I watched that. I watched the Angelina Jolie Maleficent movie for the first time. It was very random. Amy wanted to watch it. I was like, why not? Let's go for it. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. Genuinely. It was very, very good. I thought it was a really good kind of like spin on the you know, Sleeping Beauty story. Not Sleeping Beauty. What's the story? Is it Sleeping Beauty?
Yeah.
Okay, the Sleeping Beauty story. I was like, no, it's Snow White. I was like, wait, no.
No. That one's not out yet.
Snow White. No. Can we just retcon that movie? Like,
what, Snow White, the live action
Snow
one?
White? Yeah. Let's just retcon. Let's delete that one for a tax break and bring back the Looney Tunes movie they were working on. Let's just
not even the same company.
Swap them.
Not even the same
they're
company.
not. They're not.
But I see the idea. I see what you mean.
Let's just like pull the old switcheroo on them.
Can we delete for tax purposes all of the live action movies except for Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, and Cinderella?
Okay,
Please?
guys, you get to choose 3 movies to delete for tax purposes. What are you choosing? The live action Lion King.
Oh, true. It's a good one. Oh, this is hard.
I don't want to say Dune because I don't care that much. I'm just tired of people.
That's how I felt about Madam Web and Morbius.
Yeah.
I'm like, do I want to waste one on Madam Web? Like, at least I could get a good laugh out of it.
Right. I'm trying to think about
The
movies.
Little Mermaid 2.
The Little Mermaid 2. Trash.
That's my second one.
It.
The Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, so true.
That's my third.
So true. So we're doing the live action Lion King, Little Mermaid 2, and the Rise of Skywalker.
I just jumped to my lowest rated on Letterboxd. I was like, what's in my like
so
1
true.
star
Hold on.
range?
Let me hit that
Gone.
half a star. Oh, I have 2 reviews for half a star, and I have Madam Web and this is so niche, an animated movie from 1962 with Judy Garland and Robert Goulet called Gay Paris. And it
is this that cat one that bankrupted
the
that
cat
studio?
one. The cat one that bankrupted the studio. Genuinely one of the worst films I've ever seen in my life. We could erase Gay Paris forever. The Garfield movie? Yeah. Trash the Garfield movie.
For really? You couldn't think of something better? You only get 3.
Let me see. I'm just looking at my ranking by stars. Yeah, The Rise of Skywalker I gave 2 stars.
Oh, I could be petty and say Cars 1 and 3.
Okay,
so that only the second one exists.
I've picked my 3 movies. I'm going to retcon the live action Lion King, The Rise of Skywalker, and Sword Art Online, the movie progressive Aria of Starless Night.
You better sleep with one eye open.
That movie is so bad.
It's so funny because I just included that in a video where I kept gassing it up as like, this is a phenomenal movie and it looks great.
No, 2 stars.
I want to change an
2
answer.
stars.
I could also have been petty and said La La Land.
No, you can't say that.
I could have done it, but I didn't.
I could just choose like
somebody had to do it.
Somebody had to do it.
I'm the chosen one.
I'm just gonna choose like most of the Jurassic Park movies, like every Jurassic Park movie that's not the first one, and we're just getting rid of that.
Yeah,
honestly, this could be a whole episode. It's like if you could delete a movie forever, what would you choose? And I think The Rise of Skywalker is genuinely the best choice, truly.
I think a lot of people would say the whole sequel trilogy
actively ruined Star Wars. Like, not even just was bad, it ruined what was good.
Yeah.
So,
like yeah.
I'll also say Dial of Destiny could go die in a hole.
Oh, I can't believe I forgot that one. Oh, that was a good shot. Oh, you know what we should do? We should do that as an episode, but draft style.
Ooh, yes, that'd be so
and bring on another
fun.
Guest to do like a 3-person draft, so
that'd be
that
so fun.
You can only like we can't
can
both
only
pick The Lion King and The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, dude. Oh, write that down. Write that down. Nobody steal
that. Right now.
We also like low-key need to do the poorly described movie game again. I think we could do that so well again.
We do. You come up with it, and I'll do it. I'll be the guy.
The guy. He'll be the guy.
I want to play this time. I had a lot of fun hosting, but I want to play.
Yeah. Well, do you have anything else to add? Anything else you've been watching that you just kind of want to throw in there, or?
Nope. We got some leftover Five Guys fries downstairs, so I'm gonna go heat those up with some chicken nuggets.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
Eat some dinner before I stream tonight. Oh, it's gonna be great.
Praise the Lord. Yeah, I have to go. Run a fun fact. I'm going to run an event after this.
You're gonna make sure it's run well.
I got to make sure it's high quality. It's just a movie night thing for like it's like this campus-wide movie night thing. We're watching the Lego Batman movie tonight.
Let's go.
W's. But it's also like been pouring rain for like 3 days. So it was outside and now it's inside. So that sucks. But also low key, I want to like, this might sound dumb. I want to go play in the rain so bad.
You
know what I
valid for
mean?
that.
Like, you know, when you were a kid and it was raining and you were like, praise God, I'm going to go outside. And you would just like jump around. I want to bring it back. I want to do that again. I want to just splash and not have a care in the world. That's what I want to do. Granted, I might get the flu, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
You're not going to get the flu. Oh my gosh. What are you, an anime
what
character?
What if it's cold? What
that's
if it's cold
favorite.
tonight?
That's my favorite anime trope where like they get hit by one
It's
raindrop
raining.
and then they're sick the next
like,
3 episodes. And I'm like, get out of here. You just have a weak immune system. Try again.
What if it? But
what
if it's
the frick is a kilometer?
If I just like, you know, after the movie, I go out and it's like 65 degrees.
Okay, well maybe don't go out in 65 degrees.
Okay, well maybe it's my only option because I gotta watch the movie.
Or if you do, go take a warm shower. Like,
oh, you're so valid. You're so right. All right. We'll wrap it up so we don't so we're not just talking shop this whole time. So, hey, this was a more casual, just kind of hangout episode. But if you liked it, please let us know. Drop a comment. DMs are open. Email is open in the Nerdiest podcast. Let us know if you like episodes like this. We kind of just, you know, genuinely didn't have time to prepare anything else. But honestly, I had a lot of fun. What are you doing? What's this motion?
I'll tell you when we finish.
Okay, cool.
Because it requires me doxing myself.
Oh, cool. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed this chiller format. We didn't really have like a huge topic, but I hope you enjoyed. If you're not following us on Instagram at the Nerdiest Podcast, you should do that with the links in the description. Follow our YouTube channels with the links in the description. We're always putting content out there. You go to the nerdiestpodcast.com for merch. Join the Aftershow. We will have an Aftershow episode out ASAP. We deeply apologize for that. Life happens. It gets in the way. So we will see you very soon in the next episode. But until then, bye.